During the 80s and 90s, my next guest was one of Britain's best cyclists. However, she says her life didn't truly begin until she retired. Pippa York started transitioning in her 40s and has now returned to the route of the Tour de France, cycling's most famous race, for the first time as a woman. Now she's sharing her journey and her remarkable life story in a new book. It's called The Escape. And Pippa is with me now, and it is so good to see you. Nearly 25 years you've been since you started transitioning.
Yeah.
Jeez, Pippa, that's gone by. That's ridiculous.
That's a quarter of a century.
I know, it's remarkable, isn't it? Absolutely remarkable. This is a great idea because it's telling your story, but in a really different way, because we get to relive you going back to the Tour de France. How was the whole experience?
Well, it was David Walsh, my co-writer. He came with the idea that we would do the kind of Tour de France together and treat it as a journey, and then take certain parts of my life and kind of add them into what was happening during the events.
Yeah.
So I can blame him for the...
But you become... He said... What was really interesting, though, he said when you were... If you don't mind me mentioning, you know, that you were... You know, when you were Robert. He was a wee bit scared of Robert, but he's good friends with Pippa.
Yeah, that was one of my choices, that as long as I kind of kept distance from the media, then I had more recovery time and I didn't have to, give them anything more of myself.
Of course.
Because they're always kind of judging you on your performance, but actually they want more kind of personal stuff.
Right.
So I wasn't really ready to give them any personal stuff.
I can understand that. You just put the shields up, don't you?
Yeah.
And you say, well, you can ask me about my cycling, but can we just leave it there? And of course that's going to make you look a little bit sort of...
Scary.
Aha! Yeah! But behind that, it's a very good reason for that. You know, that's
it's
the
not
thing.
the only reason. You know, that a lot of sporting people kind of have a shield, you know, this kind of defence about giving too much of themselves. And you don't really want to use your emotional side when you're doing competitions.
No, of course not.
So, so that was one of my
it's
my armour
self-preservation, isn't it?
as a person.
Like a suit of armour, it absolutely is. Do you think you are much happier now, a happier and kinder person?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Even despite all, because we know it's not an easy road to go down, is it?
No. I think I said to David that when I was Robert, and pre-transition, probably 5% of the time I'd be happy. Oh. And he was quite shocked that it was so little.
Yeah.
But now I'm 95% happy, and the 5% is to do with kind of things that, getting old, wrinkles, that kind of thing.
Tell me about it. I know exactly about it. But you knew when you were really young, didn't you? You absolutely knew.
Yeah.
But then it was very difficult. It's all to do with, your background and what you were doing and your life at that time and your family. And it's hard, It's tough.
It's the 60s and 70s, and that whole kind of thing of gay rights is very difficult. It's seen as some kind of almost entertainment.
Yeah.
The people that were kind of openly different to everybody else, they were seen as these kind of things that people were entertained by. So it was really difficult. And also, coming from Glasgow and that kind of working class background, there's nobody different. You don't see any kind of role models or anything. No,
that's true. And the pressure is to conform, isn't it? It always is when you've got that sort of background.
And you want to kind of fit in as well.
Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. But your family, fine, everything's okay. It was eventually you got there.
Yeah. At first it's a concern. Your children and the people really close to you. Are they going to be able to cope with this?
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that I've kind of come through, and the people that I need in my life are still with me.
Well, that's it. That's what you want. That is the most important thing. What about young trans people now? Because, things did get better for a while. People were a lot more understanding. And then, wham! It's almost like trans people become, through no fault of their own, public enemy #1 in a way. It's got pretty toxic out there.
Yeah, I think when I was last time with you, it was a lot better.
Yeah.
But since then, it's kind of taken this dive into the depths of really difficult public kind of view of trans people. and that's the kind of political thing that probably will take a few years to sort out.
Because we're seeing that happening, especially in the US.
Yeah.
You've got people, trans people serving in the army who have just been told, sorry, you might have given like 20 years of your life, 5 years of your life, we've trained you, but actually no, you have to go now. And that's heartbreaking.
It will be for them, because that's their, that's part of who they are. And a lot of it's just deflection from other problems that politicians want to avoid.
For sure. Do you still cycle? Do you still love it? Do you still do that?
I still love cycling, yeah. And that's one of the things that kind of tied me in with David. I thought, it'll be okay because he loves cycling as well. And we can dissect, the various characters in the races and things like that. So,
because I know you do commentary now, and that's something that, of course, for goodness sake, you're an expert on. So, you can do that extremely well. And is that something you want to do more of? You'd like to do more?
I'm actually on this afternoon.
Ah, fine. Well, that makes sense.
So I'm doing commentary this afternoon on a French race.
Great.
So, yeah, I'm on this afternoon.
Oh, brilliant. Well, look, good luck with the book. The Escape by Pippa York and David Walsh is out now. It's a fascinating story. If you're into cycling, obviously, it's a great story. But it's a brilliant human story as well, Pippa. It really is. It's someone against the odds. And here you are, 95% happy. I think everybody would take that. Let's be honest. That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely all right.
Thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Well, that's a wrap for this video. We hope you enjoyed it. We have all the best moments from the show right here on the channel. And if you like this video, then we think you'll love this one. See you next time.